In today's halacha, we are continuing with the laws relating to touching areas of the body prior to washing hands in the morning. If one awakens in the middle of the night, has an itch, is he allowed to itch the above said areas, the orifices of the body, without washing hands beforehand, or not? So practically, as explained in Paiskim, one is not to touch the orifices of the body without washing hands first, unless he uses a cloth. So if you use a towel or a cloth of any, or a sheet of the like to itch yourself, that does not pose a problem. We discussed in the previous lesson that only direct contact is forbidden prior to washing hands. However, to touch directly without a cloth, even though it's still the middle of the night and you haven't yet woken up, is forbidden due to the restrictions mentioned. This is opposed to a lenient opinion that's brought in the Eshel Avram of Butchach, which says that he heard from his father-in-law that in truth the tumah only resides in the hands when you wake up in the morning, meaning when you're awakening for the day. But if you awake in the middle of the night and are just turning over, then the tumah is not yet on your hands, and therefore you can itch wherever you want. The Mishmer Shalom records this opinion, wonders at it, and concludes that one should not rely on it unless it is a case of great need. All in all, ideally, lechatchila, one should use a cloth to itch himself in the middle of the night if he doesn't want to wash hands, which is usually the case, and he should not do so directly. However, in a time of need, one may rely on this lenient opinion brought in the Eshel Avram if it is the middle of the night before Aleis HaShachar. However, once it is past Aleis HaShachar, one has woken up, even though he plans to continue sleeping, according to all opinions, the tumah is on his hands, and he may not touch the orifices directly prior to washing. As discussed in the previous lesson on this subject, the restrictions are only on the above mentioned orifices of the body and not in any other area of the body, so obviously an itch on the arm or on the back would not be included in this prohibition at any time prior to washing hands. Must children be careful not to touch their orifices prior to washing hands? So until the age of chinuch, there's no necessity for children to be careful in this matter. The Eshel Avram suggests that possibly even until bar mitzvah they don't have to be careful because they don't yet have tumah on their hands. But practically, at least until the age of chinuch, one may be lenient in this matter. Regarding children that suck their thumbs, so the l'chatchila, if the child's above the age of chinuch, one should try to wean the child off of sucking the thumb when he's sleeping, when he has impure hands, through either placing a piece of tape on the finger and matters of the like. However, as we mentioned above from the Eshel Avram, there is room to be lenient, even if the child is above the age of chinuch, so long as the child is below bar or bas mitzvah. They want to shake someone's hands if that person not wash his hands upon awakening, such as unfortunately can happen when shaking the hand of an unobservant Jew. So the answer is yes, this is not a problem. However, there are poskim that are stringent, but ideally, this is not a halachic issue. May a woman nurse her child prior to washing hands? And the answer is yes, she may, because she's not touching any of the orifices, and the issue is only with touching the orifices. Nevertheless, she has to be careful not to stick her finger in the child's mouth, as her finger contains tumah on it, unless she first wash hands. As we explained above from the Eshel Avram, in the name of his father-in-law, that when this occurs in the middle of the night prior to Alois, and she plans to return back to sleep, in a time of need, she can rely on the opinion that says there is no tumah on the hands at that point. Regarding a general explanation of why washing the hands with water helps to remove the impurity from the hands, the Kaf HaChaim explains that water comes from chesed, while impurity comes from gvurus, and hence washing the hands with water of chesed removes the severity of gvurus.